Hey, this is Peter Holmström from the Dandy Warhols, and I'm gonna show off my gear today. Starting with this is number one on this tour. It's the brand spanking new for me. As of like end of January, it's a Cole Super Cub that Saul made for me. It's a little different than the standard model. It's a Fender scale, and it's all mahogany. This is my second Cole. I'm eagerly awaiting my third. They're the most amazing guitars ever. Pickups are the Curtis Novak wide range humbuckers. I love Curtis and everything he does. Settings all the way up, always. Rarely do I mess with that unless something's a little too bright, then I'll maybe turn the tone down. But as you'll see, it's all pedals. Strings are Ernie Ball, skinny top, heavy bottoms. I use those on pretty much everything, except the bass 6, which we'll get to later. Tuning, this one's standard tuning. Most of the Dandy stuff is standard tuning. I love alternate tunings, but I messed around a little bit in the beginning with the Dandies and then realized very quickly that it wasn't really going to work in this band, at least for live. There's lots of the album stuff that was alternate tunings, and depending on how we're doing the song live, I will sometimes change what, like the song may have been written in something else, but then it gets played in standard, or the other way around, or some other thing. So, yeah. This is a Harvester from Melbourne, Australia, and it is built to resemble the 60s Italian maker named Vandre in shape and a little bit in production. It's got the metal neck, which goes all the way through, and it's bolted to the body there. And so the bridge is attached. It's like the strings are one continuous piece of metal. Get some pretty good sustain out of that. I don't know who made the pickups offhand, but they're nice. I like them a lot. I can get some really cool sort of chimey, almost strat-like tones depending on the pickup selection. On this tour, it's like I'm only using it on one song, and it's this setting where I have the neck and the bridge at the same time. It just gives lots of low end and then some cut from the bridge. It works nicely, and I love my ridiculous volume knob here. The little cutaway for it. It's so cool. And the finish wasn't supposed to do this, and I know he hasn't used the same finish ever since, but I fucking love it. I think it's so cool. Just like instantly aged it. It's got the smoked thing where you hold a candle, where you hold a lit candle up to the nitrocellulose and hope it doesn't catch fire. But it's cool finish. Standard. Bring this one along pretty much just because it plays great, and it sounds perfect for the one song I use it for on this tour, but also on a few other songs that we're not doing at the moment. It sounds really great. It's called CCR. It was a B-side from 13 Tales, I think? Maybe, somewhere. It goes back a ways. But yeah, it's just one that sort of a live favorite. This is my 72 thin line. that when I got it, somebody had pulled out the wide range and the bridge and put in a standard like telly bridge pickup. And I didn't like that so much. I never used it, so I found an original, put it in, put the Bigsby on it, just because it wasn't an original guitar, so make it what I want. I love the finish, this weird orange sunburst, which I called creamsicle. This is kind of just a backup on this tour, but it was my main guitar for the last few years, and before that I had it in open G. I've had it since 13 Tails, so I've had it since, I think I got it in '99, so I've had it a long time. It's one of my absolute favorite guitars though. This I have in open G. So this gets used for Bohemian, which is probably the best known Dandy song. Once again, when I got it, it did not have the bridge, wide range. This is not an original one. This is a reissue one. It's all right. It's not. I'd like to get an original in there at some point. Completely did the electronics with the Emerson 250 or 500K pots instead of the 1 meg pots that came in it, which it was really bright and kind of a little painful when I initially got it. I would only use the neck pickup. Now I can use the whole guitar. I got my neck plate on it. 73, I believe. It's hard to 73, 74, somewhere in there. This is a parts telly that I put together. A body that a friend made from supposedly a 100-year-old piece of swamp ash. It's really nice and light. The neck is a Warmoth neck. It's just super comfortable. Curtis Novak pickups, the wide range and the standard humbucker size. I forget who made the controls, but I don't know. It's got the, what do they call that? The stack knob situation going on there. So volume and tone for each pickup. I love this style of Bigsby. It sort of gives the telly a different feel, kind of more like maybe a Gretsch or an arch top a little bit. This is the TK Smith Tremolo Arm, which I love. It just puts the arm a little bit more in the palm of your hand and easy to flick out of the way. And this one's just along for one song at the moment that's capoed. It's just nicer to keep it in, keep one guitar always like this. And since it's the US and everything's in a bus or a truck, it doesn't matter. Plenty of room. We have twice as many as really wanted. This is started out as a green sunburst flying V made by Tokai, probably an early 80s one. This was my first electric guitar. It's obviously not green sunburst anymore. I had the body stripped, put new binding on it, finished it really badly myself, put the Bigsby on it like Lonnie Mack. It's got Gibson 57 classics. 57 classics, I think that's what they're called. And a Warmoth neck. I just bring you along because it's fun. It's flying V. It's not my favorite guitar to play. It's just not quite, like the neck's a little wider than I'd like. The edges are a little sharper and needs to be worn in. But for some reason, the pickups and whatever the way it's set up reacts really well with the guitar synth, the Boss guitar synth that I'm using on the first song. So, like, better than any of the other guitars. It's like, for some reason, I've got better control over it. So, yeah, once again, we're in the US, I can bring this along. And last but not least, this is a 63 Fender Bass 6. I use it on Godless and only Godless. We used to use it on a couple other songs. I love it. It's so much fun. I would use that on a lot more, but it's not quite right for this band. It's stock, except for the bridge, obviously. I put a Mastery bridge on it. Somebody took a sander to it at one point, apparently, but I don't know. That made it affordable when I got it. And I have it. The guy I got it from, he tuned it A to A instead of, I think, the standard E to E, like just an octave lower than a guitar. And so that's just what I do. And I like it. It's cool. It's sort of that in between a baritone and a bass 6, like a longer scale baritone or something. Like with a compressor, it can sound kind of like a piano. You get some massive chords. It's really, really cool. These are the custom strings that Gabriel Tenio wound for me, because trying to find an 18 that's long enough to go that length, playing 18 is practically impossible. So had to get custom sets made. So I used Vox AC30s for forever, and this band is just, we don't play loud enough to really get the most out of an AC30, so I had them modded with master volumes. I had the English made like early 90s or mid 90s AC30s, and with the master volume I was able to drive them a little bit harder and get the sound that I really like, that worked better, that sounded good, like clean. Anyway, the guy that did all my amp work in Portland, Brian Sowers, designed these. They're single 15. They're sort of a single 12, 15 watt, kind of a cross between an AC15 and a Gibson GA40, though it's a completely original circuit. And Brian has, like, his attention to detail is amazing. It's like he winds his own transformers, and like just the time spent on every aspect of it is pretty amazing. So these are the prototypes. These are prototype 1 and 2. They're great. They're my absolute favorite amps now. I don't like it when I have to do fly gigs and just go back to the newer AC30s, which are no fun. But whatever, you do what you have to do. Picks, Dunlop 96 millimeter, signature Dandy Warhol ones. They gave us tons of them a long time ago, and we still have them. Some multiple different designs that keep popping up, or keep surfacing. I'd use that. I'd use fingers a fair amount. I prefer the old school EBOs with just the switch that goes in one direction with the red light. Because you can get, like, the new ones have the switch that goes the other direction, which gives you the harmonic sound. I like being able to get that every once in a while, or like go in between, just by depending on where the EBO is and how you slide it into the note. So I don't know what I'm going to do when they break. Try and find more, I guess. This is my kind of new setup ever since I went away from my big rack setup, which was also custom audio electronics. This is their small unit with 10 loops, and this is sort of the brains of everything. Signal goes in there. I got all the presets and all of that for the song, so I don't have to do a ton of tap dancing. Comes over here. Loop number 1, I've got the Moleko Dandy Warhol Distortland pedal, which I am a huge fan of. I love, it's got 3 settings, 2 of which I find I can barely live without. Normally I have 2 of them on my board. At the moment there's just 1. Second, brand new, the Spaceman Polaris, super cool pedal. It's got an expression input which I haven't even really messed around with, but yeah, this is easily my new favorite pedal. It's just a really great kind of overdrive, distorted tone. Really sort of, I can play it and get a variety of things out of it. Third in the chain, Ren & Cuff Tri-Pi 70s Big Muff clone. I initially got it, well, they gave it to me, and I wanted it because of its size, just because I needed a Big Muff that fit on here. I actually like this better than my late 70s one. It's just perfectly massive in the right way, just what you want out of a Big Muff, or what I want out of a Big Muff. Then I go into Strymon Mobius. This style or size Strymon pedals with all the presets and stuff work really well with the custom audio electronics. Can have like 200 presets or something. I don't think I'll ever get that far, but lots and lots of options. It's used all over the place. Then we go into Spaceman Sputnik. This one in the acrylic. I love it. It's great. Super good, cool, like fuzz, and then it's got this little switch which gives you that sort of like fuzz factory kind of thing, which I've actually figured out a use for. After that, we go into the small stone. This is probably the pedal that's been with me the longest. I think it's there's something special about this one. I played a lot of them. The sweep is just a little bit longer than almost every other small stone I've tried, and it's broken, and I've had to use like replacement ones, and it's just upsetting when the sweep is just short. Really upsetting to me. Underneath here is my Moleko. Here, pop this in. Is the Moleko Charlie Foxtrot. It's my signature pedal with Moleko. It does a random stutter thing that is completely random and total chaos, and I like throwing it in here and there. It's super fun. It's not for everybody, but it's a great noise pedal. It's really cool stuff. Then, let's see, Big Sky reverb, tons of different reverbs, all sorts of like backwards reverbs and cool little like sparkly, sounds that are nice to toss in here and there. Then Boss gave me this, and it is all over the new record. It's super fun to play with, super easy, there's no latency. Little bit of a menu dive to figure out programming and stuff, but didn't take me that long. It makes sense, and just tons of different stuff. I'm using it like for a bunch of things too. I'm using it as an EQ because it's got that option. So with the preset, with the custom audio controller, I can have it just be an EQ on certain patches. So from that to pure disco sounds, it's great. And then I have an Analog Man dual compressor pedal, or bi-compressor, I forget what it's called. It's 2 compressors and 1 pedal. Very useful. Sounds great. Then it goes into here. I've got TC tuner, my old DM3 pedal, just analog delay. This is my wah pedal that started out just as a standard cheap crybaby wah pedal. But I had you can control this where the sweep starts and the cue with this knob down here, and this is a volume on it. It's a continual, I don't know, search for a wah pedal that I like. What I like the most about it is the knobs get bumped every night and it's a different wah pedal. So it's always adjusting to it. Tapestry audio volume pedal. It's built like a tank. I like the sweep on it. It's pretty even. I got very frustrated with volume pedals like being not what I wanted. The Ernie Ball ones are great, but I went through it. I've got a stack of them at home, just broken ones. But this will never break. It's awesome. DD5, Boss DD5 is always with me, mainly because of the way the backwards delay works on that one. I tried the DD6 and DD7, but they changed something, and so I'm just sticking with that. Timeline, same thing, multiple, like a different delay for every song. It's easy to access with the controller. So, yeah. Tremolo pan, another pedal I can't really live without. Use it both as a tremolo and a pan, but a panning tremolo since I run stereo, which is great, especially in rooms like this when the PA is so far apart. Gets pretty psychedelic. And then I've been using the Ditto looper for a while now, just pretty much to catch loops at the end of songs and fill space while everybody changes instruments or gets set up for the next track. And then last thing, all my cables are Divine Noise, another Portland company. So kind of got a little thing. I've got Portland guitar through Portland cables into Portland pedals into Portland made amps. So, but I like all the guys that make this stuff. They're super cool. Check out our new record, Why You So Crazy.